Good day. As you can see, it's a lovely day out today, but it's the end of August and fall's in the air. I don't know about you, but I really don't like working outside when the white stuff shows up. So the plan is we're going to get this unit into the shop so I can work on it there. The other part of the plan is eventually, I'm hoping over the winter, to get these two sections put together. And I also need to make it mobile. So in case I do have to get a car in the garage, I can still get this thing out, get what I need to work on it, and get it back in before it gets too rusty. So that is the plan. Let me show you how we're going to do that. So I went shopping. Went to a flea market yesterday, picked up 4 casters for $5. I thought, great deal. The only not so great deal is in this country, if you're living in a small town, chances are pretty good you're paying through the nose for wood. 4 2x4s with taxes was $20. The Americans are probably going, ugh. Can't say I blame you. That is Canadian dollars, so it's not quite so bad. Yeah, right. Anyways, the plan is we're going to build a framework. It's going to have casters on it and uprights. So basically, for the start, I can put the back half on to work on it. And eventually, I'll be able to put both halves on to do it, to join it. And that way, it's still a mobile unit. Anyways, it'll make more sense to you once we start building it. Okay, quick tip for all you guys who like to play with skill saws. One of the little tricks I've learned is whenever I lay out lines, I always lay out 2/8 of an inch apart for the width of the blade. You guys probably know where I'm going with this because it's way too easy. I've done it too many times where I've cut on the wrong side of a line. If I put 2 lines in, I go in between, I can't get it wrong. So just something to keep in mind when cutting this stuff. Anyways, let's make a part. Here's another example of why I don't throw anything away. A chunk of aspenites that's been kicking around forever, it seems. Finally got a use for it. And I'm going to make gussets that are going to help hold this framework together. Gotta like free material. Sorry guys, my brother showed up and I thought I'd take advantage of the situation and I got him to give me a hand picking up the body and dropping it on here. Didn't get a chance to set up the camera. You'll just have to assume it really wasn't that difficult. This thing does not weigh a lot, so it's fairly easy to do. As you can see, this thing is now mobile. That's important. What I want to do next is put some blocks in here. I'm not sure where they're going to go because I want it to sit a little bit higher to make it easier to work on. Oh yeah, use what you got. Recycle bins, these little plastic totes. We'll see how well they're going to work for holding this thing up. Nasty. So you can see where this dolly is sitting. I want to try to, I have to move it in a little bit more. Sorry, move it this way a bit more. Because when this thing gets mounted on here, I also want to be able to get the front part on as well down the road. So this way I'm not moving this thing twice. As long as we don't got too much, as long as the center of gravity of this material is within between the two wheels, it shouldn't be too tippy. Anyways, once we get the blocks on, we'll know where this thing's going to sit and how it's going to sit. Well, now here's an interesting little development. Hope you can see this. If you remember from the last time, the curve, it was a lot shallower here than it is now, and a lot more radius here. The difference being that right now it's just sitting on stands, but this thing is nowhere near square. I think the biggest problem I got, you can see from the inside of the floor just how much rut we got. And that's probably one of my biggest problems for keeping things square. So my plan is, once I get this mounted on the dolly, to try and square this thing up. And then hopefully the radii are going to be the same. But you can see what kind of a difference it makes when the fenders are kind of flopping around. Oh, good. I got my helper back. Say hi, Jamie.
Hi.
Okay. What's family for, right? Besides help. Okay. We're going to try and stick this under here. So if you don't mind, kick that out. Okay. Just slide that over there. All right. That's close enough. We can always adjust it later. And get to the other side. Oh, you know what? Let's do it that way. Probably could have, it might, looks like it's going to be high enough. Yeah, let's see where we're going from there. Now, I hope you guys can see this. We got the 2x4 on the front. Jack stands here on the corner. And the curve is almost symmetrical. There's hope to this piece of junk. Now that we got Jamie behind the camera, woohoo, we're moving ahead here. What I've got is I've measured here and here. I made those the same, in this case 10 inches. I put a shim in behind here to get the height level. Okay. I went over here. This and that, they're the same. Now the floor itself isn't perfectly flat. Let's go where, this is why I've got this level on here as well. So here I got this sitting and the bubble is just right on the line. So we're going to take it to the back. And if I can get this on here, gapped, try to keep these even, try to keep the gap even, ballpark it. The line's on the opposite side, which really sucks. So that tells me it's somehow twisted. Okay. My suspicions that this nasty crack in here, if I put some material in behind here or something and kind of screw it together to close the gap, I have a feeling that's going to change things a bit. What we've done now is couldn't get a drill in for the screws, so I hope they can see this. Might not be that visible. I got a piece of metal and a couple of clamps, just kind of holding it in position. But the other issue I got is this side. I think I showed before. There's supposed to be a rib here that sticks out. It's kind of badly dented. The other issue, there's a great big, you can see it, you can't really see it well, but there's a really high spot here which I have to get hammered down. Okay, so what we've done is we put a strap in here to kind of close it up to get the gap here to where it used to be. Like I said, there's so much rust in this thing. Who knows where it's really supposed to be. So I figured out it's supposed to be here. We did a check here. I got 15.5. From here to here, character line, they're the same. Great. Okay. Grab this and check the level here. Oh, you notice now this thing, I can go right up to here and it actually fits. We got the line and the bubble right on here. The edge of the bubble on the line. Okay. When we go to this end, I think one of the mistakes I made the first time is I went by this, and this is too wonky to actually trust. So, but if I go to here, on the back here, which is relatively level, okay, you can see that it's off. The edge of the bubble to here. Now, here's something. If I raise this corner up to get it level, the gap on the other end is about 1/8 of an inch. But looking at this mess that I'm dealing with, I don't think that 1/8 of an inch is going to really mean a whole lot, at least on this contraption. So I figured out where the twist came from. I measured from here, from the board to the board, and of course it's going to be the same. Okay. What I should have checked was from a character mark, in this case, that lip on the door jamb, which is 22 inches to the floor. And this one, because I moved the 2x4 around, is the same, 22. And now you can see, surprise, surprise, the bubble is close to the line. My error now, let's see, my error now is like, oh man, barely, you can see I raise it up 1/8 of an inch, I can hardly get the bubble to move, so I think I'm going to call it good. Put 2 jack stands up. I got the corners leveled with the floor. Right about, where did I measure? Yeah. From here to the floor, same on the other side, they're the same. Come over here. From here, doesn't matter. From here to the floor, they're the same on both sides. Level is really close. So I'm going to call that good. And what we're going to do next is I'm going to make up some wooden pieces. And I think I'm going to go, since this is really badly rotted, I'm probably going to go somewhere around in here. Drill screws in to the wood. And bring it down to here. And same as here, other side. When I was picking this up, I noticed the balance point is probably somewhere around here because that is really light, easy to pick up. This section was a lot heavier. So I figured my balance point's somewhere in here. So I'm guessing I don't have to worry too much about this thing tipping over. You can see I started putting in the uprights. I just measured from here to here and made them the same on both sides. Made the uprights the same length. And you can see where it's going to go up in here. But as you can tell, we got a bit of a gap. Let's see, there's one on the other side. So where it stops and where the gap is, I measure that gap and it's 2 inches. Fortunately, I got bits of aspenite. And if you put 2 pieces together, that's 1 inch. So to balance it, I'm sticking 2 of these in here. You know, I really love the swoopy curves of 30s Art Deco design. But why on earth would they carry that on with inner structure? This wheel housing isn't flat, not even close. You can see I had to put an extra spacer in there to make up for it. Why did they not make it flat? Sometimes this engineering, I just don't understand. we've screwed one side down, the side's still loose. And I know what you might be thinking, why the heck did I use wood? The biggest challenge I find, and one of the things why I get a kick out of, is not how much money I can spend, but how little I can spend. It would be way better if I made it out of structural steel tubing. It would cost a small fortune in this country anyways. So that's one of the reasons I went with wood. Plus, well, I like the challenge of doing things for as little as possible. Now, I did make the frame square enough, but here's the funny part. It's what I've done is to set this, I basically measured, trying to find features that will work. So corner to corner to this hole here, 80 3/4 is the same on this side. $80 3/4. I did the same thing with the length from here, this feature in here, just below the welting on the fender, to the corner and the corner, and they're the same. So that tells me that the frame, the body is in good shape with respect to the frame. But I need to show you something. When I lock this one in place, I don't know if you can see it well enough or not, but there's actually a rib in here, okay? And I just went to this side of the rib. If you come over here, on this side, it's almost on the opposite side of the rib, so you're talking about a 3/4 of an inch difference. Is that an issue with the body? Because you would think they would be on this side and on this side. You think the ribs will be symmetrical to one another. So this is enough to drive me crazy, okay? I measured from the front of the wood to here and there and compared. There's a 1/2 inch difference. This is actually in further by 1/2 inch. Okay. If I pushed it forward, it would make that rib line up better. Great. But just for giggles, I thought I'd check something. Considering my fenders you think would be the same? Measure from corner to corner, same on the other side, 2 inches of difference. I checked it several times because I couldn't believe it. But yeah, this is what we're dealing with old cars. Like, what's straight, what's square, and what are we going to go by for trying to set some sort of datum? Yeah, the challenge continues. Well, it's another new day and new perspectives. What I've done is that block, I've just put a clamp on it to hold it in place after I finally did some more measuring. One of the hardest things I've had to figure out is what's straight, what's square. And what I've had to come up with is, what am I going to use as my datum surface? What's my datum plane? It's where I measure everything off of. Because this door jamb is going to be mated to the front. I can measure from there, door jamb to door jamb for the distance I want. And I can actually get everything parallel. So what I'm thinking is the back half, what I've done is I've measured from this point here to here, same on the other side, and got them the same. Checked with a tape measure from back here to, don't know if you can see it or not, this one corner here, where this part meets the fender, and both sides are the same. I don't know how else to do it any better than that. So I think I'm going to have to stick with that. What I got to do next is put in the block of wood on this side, put the screws in that one so it doesn't move. Since it's really not very exciting watching drilling holes and putting screws in, I'm just going to show you where we put the screws on both sides. Try to keep it up and away from this, because this is probably going to get cut away. if worst comes to worst, I got to put more in, I'll put them up a little bit higher because this is pretty rotten. So it's probably going to have to go. And you can see what I did in here. More screws, longer screws in here, and I had to put shims in here. The weird part is the shims are different from one side to the other. There's an extra ½ inch on the other side. It's just the way it worked out. I'm not going to get too worried about it because the rest of it, yeah, the rest of it stayed where it was supposed to stay. So I'm happy with that. Well, I'm a happy boy now. We have a mobile unit. Yay! I can roll it out. If I need to work on another car, I can fit it wherever I want. So yeah, and it's half straight. Well, we'll see how straight it is when we get the front half on. That's later on down the road. I want to thank you guys for watching. I just hope you enjoy this much as watching this as much as I enjoyed building this. Anyways, thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.